Welcome back to the barn, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a minute. I meant to go ahead and do an episode last week, I think it was, but I had Alex over. We just didn't really get around to it. And then it's kind of just been hit or miss. I've been waiting to kind of get him on, but here we are. It's just not really working out, and I need to put something out. I do need to figure out if I'm going to go ahead and have a solid co host, but I need a co host that's going to be solid with me, you know what I'm saying? Or if I just want to go ahead and do cycling through guests, uh, I'll figure that out. Definitely not necessarily a pressing issue. I mean, there's like 15 of y'all. But anyways, welcome back. It's great to be back. Good to good to see all y'all. You know, I can't really see y'all. I just see me. Uh, Man, I got this. So I went up to Books a Million, and I went to go get the last. Ooh, I went to go get the last book in my series. They said they had it in stock. Dude, I walked around the entire freaking store. I should have just asked somebody, honestly. But when I go in there, I feel like I don't belong. Like they know that I'm not that I'm not like a real reader, that I'm just kind of in and out of phases and stuff. So I feel kind of awkward going and talking to them. Plus, they're always not to be mean or anything, but they're always, the freaking guys with like those little freaking 1940s caps, and they're wearing suspenders and fucking got glasses, and they're overweight, and I do not fit that profile in the slightest. Or it'll be a girl with like purple hair trying to check me out, and it's like, and it just it's real awkward. I mean, I don't know if it's just me or if I'm just perceiving that weird. Also, guys, I freaking sliced and diced my thumb up today. I was going to open up a Nordic pack, and I was holding it like this, and actually, you know what, dude? That's actually I don't remember how I did it now that I think about it, because I cut my right hand, but I was using the knife in my right hand. Something like that. Oh, I think I went to go. Yeah, I don't even remember. Actually, I, wow, that's actually insane. It just happened earlier. Anyways, I had a big old freaking just gnarly slash on the side of my thumb. It was bleeding like a stuck pig, but I got it bandaged, and then I taped it with masking tape because we ran out of, or not masking tape, but like painter's tape. I think it's the same shit. Um, but we ran out of our nice sticky white duct tape, which is usually what I put over my band-aids, because we got band-aids, but they don't really stick all that well. And I don't feel like band-aids ever really stick all that well. So I like putting a piece of tape around it to keep it nice and solid on there. But we did have the tape from the husk bags, and I was like, you know what? If it can keep water out of a husk bag, it can keep this band-aid on my thumb. So I did that. So that's what that is. Anyways, back to this book. So I was walking around and I was looking at some Greek stuff. Found this book. It's called Greek Myths. Look at the freaking picture on it. That shit's freaking sweet. Um, and it's just a compilation of all these Greek stories. So uh, I've been reading a lot of it, but I got kind of bored because I mean, the first like 12 chapters or whatever is not even 12, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like the first 27 chapters are all just talking about the gods, like in their own perspective light, which, I mean, you read so much about it and it's like you already know half the stuff that they're saying. And then it's like, well, but you don't want to not read it, because what if there's something you don't know? But then you read over it and it's like, okay, well, there was like one thing in there I didn't know, and it wasn't all that big of a big deal. Because it'll be something, especially in this book, it'll be something that has nothing to do with like Greece. It'll be like, this is how they worshipped this god, and like just the surrounding countries, because Greek had such a huge sphere of influence. But in the beginning of the book, they do talk about how the Greeks believed the Earth came about. They talk about chaos, and it's NYX. I think it's Nyx or Nyx. It's just supposed to be. It's like complete darkness. Um, there's the egg, the Titans, and then there's the birth of Zeus, the giant war. Talking about the Cyclops Prometheus, and they talk about Pandora when she opened up what they called Pandora's box. It was just a box that had all disease and everything bad in the world, and she couldn't. She was so tempted to open it, um, that she opened it, and that was Prometheus's wife, and she was so tempted to open it because it kept all the bad stuff in there, kept begging, please let me out, please let me out, I'll save you, blah 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 blah, telling her all this good stuff so that they would be let out. Um, and then in some of the versions, when she closed the box, hope was the only thing left in there, and it got trapped. And in another version, she closed it, and hope was still in there, and then it started talking to her like, "Oh, I'll save you," and then she opened it again, and hope followed behind all of this disease and all this bad stuff, and hope was the last good thing. But anyways, and then it goes into the 12 um, major Olympians, the ones with the seat at the council. So that'd be, Zeus, Hera, Hestia, Poseidon, Demeter, Artemis, Apollo, Athena, Ares, Hephaestus, Dionysus, Hermes, and Aphrodite. And then it talks about some of the other ones, which is a little bit weird in here because I know Hades doesn't necessarily have a seat at the council, but they do. Like in the old myths, they talk about letting Hades come up for the summer and winter solstices, um, especially the winter because it's the darkest day of the year. Uh, and then they also talk about, so in here they talk about Perseus. There's, if you ever want to watch Clash of the Titans or Wrath of the Titans, that's about Perseus. Then it talks about the adventures of Heracles, which I still get mixed up because some things will say Hercules was the Greek name, others say Hercules was the Roman name, and vice versa with Heracles. I don't really know. I prefer Hercules to be Greek. Um, I don't think it really matters. And then talks about Jason and the Argonauts when Jason was the son of Zeus that went to get the Golden Fleece. And that talks about Theseus. It talks about man, well, the Theban cycle. I'd have to read about that. I'm not 100% sure. And then it talks about Troy, which is going to be, the War of Troy, the fall of Troy, talking about Achilles and Helen of Troy, and Odysseus. And then it brings up Homer's Odyssey. I don't think it talks about the Iliad in here, but the Odyssey and the Iliad were like the most renowned pieces of work for Western civilization in the world. And that talks about some of the crime and punishment that you would face, or what they believed you would face, based on how you acted. Which, oh man, I should have freaking marked the page where it talks about, because you had like if you refused, or if you weren't hospitable to your neighbors or strangers, if you disrespected any elders, if you, uh, especially if you murdered, or created or if you had any heinous crimes like that, the Furies and stuff would chase you around for your entire life. And then they would torment you even more once you got to the underworld, and you would be because once you get to the underworld, you're faced between three judges. Only if your family has placed like a gold coin either over your eyes or under your tongue. It was most commonly done under your tongue, so that when you got to the underworld, you could pay the ferryman to be able to get across the three rivers. Otherwise, you were left there to wander for 100 years, and then I think you could finally appear before the judges. Um, so that was a big deal, to give money to the dead. But anyway, so you get across the river with the ferryman, and then you're faced in front of three judges, and one of them, the only one I really remember, is the King Minos. He was the king of, oh shit, here I am blanking after I just said the only one I remember. Anyways, King Minos, or Minos, how the fuck you say it? He's one of the main judges, and then you either go to the Fields of Elysium, which is like basically the heaven. You get to relive all of your most fondest memories. You don't feel any pain. You don't. There's no sorrow, no nothing in Elysium. That's usually where the heroes would go because they live such a noble life or what have you. And then there was the Fields of Asphodel, I think is how it's pronounced, and that was basically just nothing. You were a soul. I mean, that's people that didn't live a great life but didn't have a bad life. You were just left to basically wander. And in a lot of the stories that you hear about it, it's just people that have gone insane from just wandering around. Or you would go to the Fields of Punishment, which that's pretty obvious what that is. That was for the bad people, and for the really bad people, you would just get thrown into Tartarus and be tormented by the Furies for eternity. And they would the fates would decide your punishment based on how your life was, and the fates were the three goddesses or three divinities that would spin and like spin and knit and then cut your thread of life based on whenever really they wanted to. Even everybody had to bow to them. Even Zeus had to bow to the fates because they ran everything. Um, but they didn't see it as like they ran everything. They just acted how they wanted to, basically. Like, but it was always the right way to do it, if that makes sense. Like they weren't corrupt or anything. And it talks about some of the loves of the gods. Wow, that's quite a name of a chapter. I don't even know. Wow, it rhymes with grape. It rhymes with grape. Uh, and then I guess it'll talk about at the end here. It'll talk about the uh, link to the Roman mythology, which I do like. I do like the connections. I think that the Greek stuff is way cooler than the Roman stuff, though, honestly. But it's because the Greek or the Romans changed it, and I kind of like it because the Greeks OG. You know what I'm saying? The Romans came in, took over Greece, changed some of the stuff, got rid of some of the gods, added new gods, changed all the names. Bunch of BS, honestly. But who am I to say? But anyways, it's kind of crazy to think that I mean these people like they built temples, they sacrificed humans, they sacrificed all these animals, lived their lives to these gods. So I don't know. It gets you a little bit thinking. I mean, I do want to preface this by saying I do believe in Jesus. I believe in our Savior. I believe in God. Um, but it gets you thinking sometimes. Like all these other religions, these people devote their lives. Maybe who's to say? Like, what if it was what you believed is what happened? Like your brain and your soul is so powerful that whatever you devote your life to and you praise basically is what happens to you because you're so ingrained in this thought in your soul that that's what just happens. That's how it goes, depending on what you believe. Now I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I mean it kind of gets you thinking because it kind of correlates with like an alternate reality type thing or uh, like wormholes or quantum physics that there's all these different realities. Who's to say that's not the same in the afterlife? There's all these religions. There was religions that are gone, religions that have yet to be formed. Who's to say they're not all right? I mean, we don't know. Possibility, I guess. Um, I don't really know, but it's kind of crazy that, and a lot of these cultures had the same ideas. I mean, it's a pretty childish and simplistic view of the world to say that everything that you can't necessarily understand is like a god. Like they didn't understand how the ocean worked, so it was okay, well, this is a god that controls the ocean and it's based off of his mood. Is that true? I don't. I mean, science would tell you no, that there's a real logical explanation to, the moon and the tides and how the ocean turns and works. Um, but science is just a gift, which actually they believe science was just a gift from the gods to be able to figure out the world around them, but the gods still were the gods and controlled everything. Like, if that makes sense, I guess. Which I think now, even, I think that's kind of how it is now. I mean, science is, I mean, that's how it's believed in, churches and stuff, that science is just a gift from God that, we're able to be so smart, we're able to figure these things out as a blessing and a gift, but it shouldn't necessarily deter us away from believing in Him because we have science. Science is just a gift that we were given by this higher being. So, I mean, it's the exact same premise that ancient Greeks believed, and I'm sure most religions believe. I'm not really 100% sure. You cannot quote me on that. But I don't know. Religion's kind of a crazy thing. And it also gets you thinking how much money that, or I guess that religion and money are always intertwined. From the beginning of religion, it's been you have to pay, you have to pay, you have to pay, you have to pay, you have to pay. And it's like, why why does God or any sort of God need my money? Like, what if money is a tangible thing on the earth? It would have no value in any sort of afterlife. So why are all these religions requiring money to, the pastors or the preachers, or the people that run the churches, or whatever, mosques, what have you? But it's always surrounded by money, and that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, and then it gets you thinking, okay, so if it's always surrounded by money, is it all just a ploy to get money? I mean, not that I think that, Jesus was saying, oh, only go to church to, go to give money and stuff and blah, 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 blah. But because, like, if you follow Jesus, you're just following Jesus, and you're not going to follow, that's a big thing that I hear, preachers or advocates of Christianity and stuff. They say, follow Jesus, don't follow religion. So if that's the case, why is religion, so, like, viewed upon as this great thing? Like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Damn, dude, I was about to fucking spin off of that and go somewhere. I don't really remember where I was gonna go. Frick. Start with something about money. Darn, dude. Oh, anyways, well, I guess I kind of forgot. I lost my train of thought. I just saw that Diddy is huge change here. I just saw that Diddy is filing a $50 million lawsuit against his accuser, and that his lawyers are going to try to bring in, um, they're going to bring in the videos of everything that happened, and basically use them to their advantage to say, hey, these were consenting adults. Nobody, which I don't really believe, because the dude that was breaking it all down, one of the lawyer dudes, he was like, there was no, he's like, if I was on Diddy's team, I'm going to bring these videos forth first and say, these are two consenting adults. Nobody was forced. Nobody was blackmailed. Nobody was threatened. Nobody was this, that, or the third, which I don't freaking believe in the slightest, honestly. Um, even if even if you do bring these videos forward and you're saying like, oh, these are two consenting adults, blah 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 blah, who knows what happened when the freaking camera wasn't on? You know what I mean? So, and I saw a clip talking about this one dude walked in and it was like a white sheet over a table and looked like the Last Supper, and there's a baseball player. I don't remember his name. There's a baseball player. Jay-Z was there. Uh, somebody else was there too, but it was like three people sitting at this table, and Diddy, and then he like he got he got ran through type shit. Got a little train ran on. And they talk about which a big thing that, one of my favorite quotes. It's not. Well, I shouldn't say one of my favorite quotes. Um, but a big freaking thinker quote is like, all life is sex, and sex is only about power. So I mean, really, all life is just about power when you think about it. Which, I mean, I was talking. Which I do want to bring this up. The only time, or the only reason I was looking up Diddy stuff, I haven't looked at Diddy at all in like, I don't know, like 3 months or some crazy shit. Um, but the dudes at work, Tommy and Tommy, always keep asking me what I know about it. I don't really know nothing, because I mean, I've been trying to get off my phone and stuff, and try to get off of social media a little bit, which is kind of ironic to say as I'm posting this on YouTube. But when I'm not doing this, I try to stay off my phone a little bit, try to stay off social media. I've been reading more. I've been journaling, which I've been writing some raps too. I might have to read a little bit to y'all. I'll have somebody else here though, so that I can get a raw reaction and not just fucking post it on there. Because I don't know. I think that some of them are kind of funny, some of them are a little fucked up. I wrote one the other night. That one was bad. It was talking about some fucking. It was bad. It low key might be the reason that somebody somebody blocked me on the gram, because I posted on my burner gram, and then somebody blocked me on the gram, and I have been shown a few moments of weakness and been texting her, but Nonetheless, we are back. Uh, probably shouldn't have done it because that's not really fair on my part to do. But at the same time, it's like, I'm trying to look out for her and, keep my distance, do this, that, and, try to work on me. But it's like, I keep having this feeling, and it's stupid because I know exactly what I'm doing, and I know why I'm fucking up and what I'm doing to fuck up, but I keep doing it. Like, I had this feeling that, like, oh, maybe I do miss her, but it's like, nah, I just miss, the good times, and it wasn't always great. So, it's just like how you take the bad and you move on from the bad and you put it behind you. You got to do the same with the good. You got to say, okay, that was fun, that was great, it's over. Just as you do as it was like, damn, man, that fucking sucked. That was horrible. But hey, at least it's over now. And not to say, at least it's over, but like with the good, but the same premise has to apply. You can't hold on to the good and be like, oh, this was perfect, blah blah blah. Be like, oh, and not remember any of the bad. If you're gonna hold on to the good, you gotta hold on to the bad. And if you're holding on to shit, then you're never gonna you're never gonna get anywhere because you're gonna be so caught up in the past, while the present just goes right by you. That's why they call it the present because each day is a gift. I think that was Master Oogway. Such a great movie, dude. Kung Fu Panda is such a good movie. It's so deep, bro. Like, although I will say, Oogway looked at Tai Lung one time, and was like, nah, bro, I see evil in this fool. Master Shifu had years with this freaking, I think he's a snow leopard. Um, but he had years with Tai Lung to freaking sniff out all this evil and see his chi and this, that, and blah, 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 blah. Never found it. Although I will say, it's probably because he thought of him as like his son and he didn't want to see it. I think that might be in the movie. He was like, I saw it, but I didn't want to see it. Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it. Maybe I just debunked myself. Maybe not. But man, Kung Fu Panda, great. Oh man, I was about to say great trilogy, but Kung Fu Panda 4 was good too. Kung Fu Panda 4 was pretty solid. Eh, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. Mm. Back to what I was saying though. Like I keep looking out for her, but then it's like, what about me? You know? Like if I had these, just as I'm respecting her feelings, don't I gotta kind of respect my own? Because I don't know. But nonetheless, I didn't just let it go. I need to go to the gym more. Honestly, I haven't gone at all this week. And today's Thursday. Um, well, I didn't go yesterday because we were snowed in. I tried freaking. Oh my goodness, dude. So I was parked over here behind the shop, and I tried to pull out and just back in, like pull out and then back right back up, so that I would have um like tracks to be able to pull out in case it was still really frozen and fucking got even more frozen as the night went on because I knew I had work today. And what I really wanted to do was pull out and drive around to the front of the house here and be parked over here where I'm parked at now. Um, that's what I really wanted to do. I wasn't really banking on that. I was more planning on just pulling out, seeing how it went, and then probably just backing straight back in. I think that might just be the garage door. But I pulled out, and as soon as my front tires touched the asphalt, the whole truck just started sliding sideways. Like I had zero control. I tried fucking turning the wheels, hitting the gas, nothing happened. And then I was sitting there in the ditch. I was like, well, frick. Like my front tires were on the road, and the rest of my truck was sitting in the yard. And I was like, well, that sucks. It was a plane. It wasn't a garage door. I was like, dang, that sucks. So I was out there for, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes. I was shoveling out underneath the back tires, all the snow and stuff. I was trying to shovel off the frickin' like scrape off the ice off the road so I could get some traction on my tires. I tried putting wood behind or like in front of my back tires so that when it would roll on, it would have some traction and catch on there. None of that worked. I kept spinning the frozen mud, or like the Moe's, blah, 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 blah. Golly, these nice fucking talk. The mud got into the tread of my tire, and all the snow and stuff and ice got spun up in there too, and it was all frozen. So it was basically like my back tires were bald because there was so much mud in there. I was like, well, that is an issue. Uh, and finally, I couldn't get it, couldn't get it, couldn't get it, couldn't get it, couldn't get it. Went in, went inside, and I was really trying to ask my dad for help, but I guess, I mean, he was asleep. Wasn't really paying attention. Um, but I went in there and I was like, "Yo, do you think the lawnmower could get me out?" And my mom was like, "Well, what happened?" I was like, "Well, I went to go pull out," and told her what happened. And she was like, "Okay, well, let me finish eating the sandwich or whatever, and let me see if I can help you out." I was like, "All right, cool." She comes out here and she's just instantly hops in the driver's seat, and I was like, "Oh, all right." I was like, "I thought you were gonna maybe have an idea of telling me what to do, maybe, or something." I was like, "It's just a one-wheel drive truck. Not really sure what the best plan of attack is here." Because like I've been like back home, I'd help them get out of like their car from getting stuck. I dug out my cousin's car, dug out my mom's car, dug out dad's truck, dug out the Durango, dug out multiple cars, put wood down, and gotten on the back and pushed as it's going or whatever, and it's worked just fine. But they keep yelling at me that I don't have enough weight in the back, and my mom was like, "You need sandbags," and I was like, "I don't really need sandbags. Like it would have been a good idea to have sandbags right now for the fact that it snowed." But I was like, "Dude, we live in North Carolina. It never freaking snows here. We've lived here for 4 years, and this is the first snow we've ever seen. Besides our first year here, it dusted and it was gone by 8 a.m. As soon as the sun came out, it was gone." Um, but anyway, she comes out there and she starts freaking flinging mud all over the place. And I'm like, "Holy shit." And I was like, "You're not going anywhere." I was like, "You're just digging." Um, and she just kept hammering it. And finally, she got out um, up onto the road, but the front tires were just sliding as she got up there. So she just went into the other ditch and spun around. And then as she was spinning, she fucking sprayed mud like in a big old U shape. And I was standing on the road here, and she was coming this way and spinning this way. And I saw all the mud start flying like up top, and I ran like shit, I don't know, 300 feet maybe. I just, and I was like that, and there was still mud fucking flying in front of me. I was like, "Holy shit!" And I just heard it like spin. So I was standing here, and I just kept hearing her go one, 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 and she spun all the way around to the other ditch, and then the truck was sitting like this in the other ditch, like the two tires were like this, angled in the ditch, fucking buried in the snow. Because that ditch across the street is way deeper than the ditch here. And I was like, "Fuck." Um, and then she fucking tore up that other yard. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like I didn't even know what to do or say. I was just like, "Brick." Didn't really tried helping. I was pushing on the back, pushing, but I mean, once she got it over to the other side, that bitch was in there. Um, but then my dad came out there. He was not happy. I mean, he wasn't feeling good. But he was not happy uh, at all because she threw up the neighbor's yard. But I was like, "Oh, whoops." And then we called up Teresa, and she came over with the Jeep, which I don't really know why she didn't. They have a Tacoma sitting right there. I don't know why she didn't grab the Tacoma, but she brought the Jeep. I hooked up a chain to the frame of the truck, hooked it up to the back of her Jeep, and she was trying to pull it, pull it, pull it. Thankfully, before they even called Teresa, I called up my boy, Brotato Chip. You know how it be. You know how we rock. That's who I've been hitting the gym with lately. Shout out Brotato Chip. We need to go. Need to get you back, or need to get you on the podcast. Really, I did shoot a video with Brotato Chip one time. It was me, Brotato Chip, and Alex. And I actually had the camera sitting way up there, but the mic wasn't working, so it was just nothing really. I mean, it was not good. And then he showed up. Thankfully, he had a rescue strap, like just a regular toe strap. So I got that down where the chain was, took the chain off, put the rescue strap where the chain was, and they were wanting him. Like my dad was like, "It might be easier if you pull up and like the trucks are about to kiss basically, and back out." And I was sitting there, I was like, "Okay, that's cool, but like, where are you gonna hook the strap to on your truck?" I was like, "You don't have a hook on the bottom. You don't got nothing on the bottom. You don't have anything on the front." And I was like, "It'd be way easier if you just turn around let me hook it to your hitch, and you just drive straight. And that way, if I do accidentally bump, I'm not gonna bump you in the slightest. Like I'm gonna do everything I can to not bump you. But if like I slide on the ice, at least if I tap you, it's gonna be touching your hitch and your bumper, and not fucking us hitting our front ends together. Um, which we didn't. I didn't hit his back at all either. But yeah, he started pulling out, and I got out of there real real smooth. Like honestly, I was like, I mean, this is. I mean, we do it at work quite a bit. I mean, we get a lot of stuff stuck at work, and just throw it to the front, hook it to the back, drive off, fucking get her done. But regardless, got out, got everything was fine. Nothing got hurt on the truck. Then I just pulled around, drove through the yard back here, around the shop, drove up to the front. Instead of having to drive all the way around the street, I could just drive through the yard, which was pretty nice. Um, I didn't know if the truck was gonna fit. Thankfully, it did. And then today, this morning, I almost freaking turned around and went home because I was driving up and I went to go leave. It took me fucking like I think like 8 or 10 minutes to just get out of my road because DOT didn't come down here at all. I mean, I don't really need to fucking drive down a housing development to salt the roads, but uh, whole fucking shit was ice, slush, crunching snow. Like I was sliding, fucking leaving the house. I got up to the stop sign. I saw that all of 55 was paved off, or like not paved off. Of course it's paved. It's a freaking highway. That it was all salted and all the ice was gone and stuff. So I was like, oh, thank God. Got up there and I started driving. I was like, oh, okay, like it's going to be smooth. Got over the bridge. The bridge was the smoothest part of my whole drive, which in my experience makes no sense. But here we are. Got through Oriana. Oriana wasn't really bad at all. There was just a couple bad spots. But then I got on like this side of 55, like going towards Bayboro, obviously. And holy shit, it was horrible. I mean, I was slipping, sliding. I think I was going like 30 the whole way. I was slipping all over, sliding. I was about to just fucking turn around and be like, yo, I'm just not coming in. Like I was about to, like it got to the point where I was, about it, like I just got out of Oriental and I could still take the turn to Kershaw. And I was sliding that bad going from just that curve to the next curve going to Kershaw that I was like, I'm about to just turn around and not even go in. Like if I got yelled at or what have you, then I got yelled at. I mean, I was like, whatever. Uh, but I didn't. I just kept going. Got in. Wasn't horrible. The Callison Road going down to the mill was freaking horrible though. That was because I hadn't been touched either. So I mean, I had to go for I don't know whatever it is, like a half mile, fucking just raw ice. I was terrified of going in the ditch. I was like, oh man. But I saw Marco had just gotten up there right before I got there. So I was like, all right, if I do go in the ditch, he's right there. So, and because he was driving Nikki's truck and she's got 4-wheel drive because she's got a new Silverado instead of his GMC. I was like, "What? You didn't trust your truck today?" And he was like, "Oh no, Nikki." She was like, "Oh, just think of my truck," because she doesn't have to go back to work till Monday because she works up to college. And I was like, "Yeah, they're definitely not open up to college till for a minute." Mm. Speaking of college, my classes start in like 4 days. So I'm doing all online stuff. So I got a bit of a late start, which I was glad to see. But I do need to freaking crack down on that shit. But it's coming up. I think I'm taking 5 classes a semester. Um, so I'll crack down on that shit. Got the TV back. I don't know if I even told you guys that it was gone. I might have not even did an episode between by the time it was gone and by the time I got it back. But our old TV in the living room fucking cut out. So I haven't watched that TV. Like I can hardly stand it because it's been so um, blue. Like everything just looks blue on there. For the last shit, I don't know, like 2 years maybe. It's been ridiculous. And it puts so much strain on my eyes. I cannot watch it. And I'm like, I don't know how you guys are sitting here watching it. But finally, that TV shut out, like turned off, fucking cut out, cooked, done. Throw it on a plate with some garnish, get that shit toasted. Uh, that was horrible looking. But anyways, so they came out here. They told me that my mom told me that it happened, and he told me that she was gonna get the TV off the porch. And I was like, okay. I was like, you do know that it's like mounted to the wall, though, right? She's like, well, that's easy. Like, you just undo it. It's like 2 or 3 bolts. You just undo it, and we have TV stands. I was like, yeah, well, all right. I mean, if that's what y'all want to do, right? When I get home from work, come out here, no TV, no soundbar. And I was like, well, that's weird. Walked inside, that shit's in their living room. I was like, I thought y'all were taking the TV off the porch. And they're like, oh, no, we just stole it from the barn. I was like, oh. So I didn't have a TV out here for, I don't know, maybe like a week. And then they got a new freaking, dude, they got a huge TV now. They went and got a 75-inch fucking 4K Ultra HD Legacy. Oh my golly, dude. Like, you fucking having a movie theater here, but it's just a living room. But it is sweet to watch football on. I watched the Notre Dame Ohio State game on there. Championship, I guess. I could have just said. Which, shout out to the Big Ten. Fuck you, Ohio State. But I was talking to Tyler about it because those of y'all that know, Tyler's my brother is a huge Ohio State fan because he grew up in Ohio for a little bit. His dad's from Ohio. So he's a big state fan. Fuck that shit. But I mean, Michigan won it last year. Ohio State won it this year. That bodes very well for the conference. Um, although Ohio State didn't beat Michigan, like in their natty year, they didn't beat Michigan. They weren't conference champs. Not only were they not conference champs, but they didn't even compete for the title. They weren't even in the game. They had 2 losses, and it took them 2 tries to beat Oregon. I mean, that says something. Which I will say, Oregon did not look like themselves when they lost in the Rose Bowl. Dillon Gabriel looked sick. I mean, I don't want to be making excuses. I mean, we lost. That's what happened. I mean, got to take it as it comes. But he was looking sick. We were down a couple players. Shit happens. I mean, you can't rely on your best players all the time. You got to be able to have. I mean, otherwise you don't really have a team. You just have good players, and that's not what you want. You want to be able to have, you're 2 or 3 deep, be trying to compete with your number one. You don't want it to be your number one is so blown out that your number one is the best on the field at every position. Like, yeah, you're gonna have a couple. You're gonna have a wide receiver one. You're gonna have a DN that's top notch, or maybe a linebacker, or a top notch safety or something. But everybody else should be, your 2 and 3 should be competing for that number one spot. And if they're not, you have a problem. But I thought we were there. I thought we had that mentality. We had the mentality. We had it. We were just came up short. That's really all that happened. But nonetheless, Ohio State did have a good year. I was about to say great and good at the same time. Definitely could be rivaled with Michigan's year. But I would say Michigan beat Ohio State. Michigan was a conference champ, and Michigan was 15-0. But Big Ten runs college football. Fuck the SEC. That shit's weak. Big Ten on top, baby. We got real titans of industry with we got teams like Iowa, golly. We got teams like Nebraska, golly. We got teams like the Minnesota Gophers. Oh my goodness. We got the Purdue Boilermakers. We got the Indiana Hoosiers. We got the motherfucking Michigan State Spartans. Low-key. We got the Rutgers. Nah, the Big Ten's low-key weak except for Michigan, Ohio State. Not really. I wouldn't say weak, but I mean, it's usually pretty hit or miss with the Big Ten. Damn, I can't tell if that's my hair. But, also, hair has been a big topic ever since I started this. I still have not trimmed it, cut it, nothing. It's getting long. It's getting to the point that I cannot hardly bear it. But I don't know. I've been thinking about doing something. I don't want to reveal it because I do want to keep that kind of to myself. Probably think about doing something. Yeah, I guess that's kind of where I'll leave that. But keep growing it out for a little bit, and then I'm gonna do something. And I don't know. I mean, I say I'm gonna keep it to myself. It's not really that big of a deal. A bunch of fucking people do it, but I've never done it, so I do want to try it. But I want to be able to get through having this hair, and I don't want it to be like, oh, I said I was gonna do this, and then I don't end up doing it because I just can't stand having the long hair. But I don't know. That we're gonna try. Um, oh man. Man, I was trying to think of something else. It's been fucking 40 minutes. I feel like that might be a pretty good place to end it. Man. All right, well, we're gonna end it there because I can't think of anything else, and I look like an idiot grasping for something. So yeah, that'll be it. Man, I keep telling you I'm gonna post right away, and then I don't. So I don't want to be fucking sitting here telling you I'm gonna post again. I will post again. I absolutely will. I'm gonna try to start making some YouTube shorts. Probably more while I'm driving. I still need to get a freaking little phone holder so I can record while I drive. But I think I'm gonna do some shorts on just some little topics. Um, so I don't gotta sit here for 40 minutes or an hour or what have you doing a whole podcast. But I can have little clips, little thoughts, whatever. But yeah, so I'll probably start doing that hopefully sometime soon. I need to get a camera because this camera quality is fucking horrible. It looks like I'm recording on a microwave. But yeah, I'm gonna try to. Hopefully, next podcast we will have a guest. I've been putting off this episode just because I've been waiting on my guest. Haven't had it yet. Whatever. We'll get it figured out. I'm really hoping that this mic never is still on. I was really worried that the mic cut out. But anyways, we will. You know what, dude? We'll catch you on the next one. When that will be, I'm not really sure. Stay tuned for the shorts. Like, comment, subscribe.